They hate when you elevate. Yeah. They hate when you elevate. The second of losses, I'm handing them out. Yeah, I had to go delegate. It feel like I'm floating, I'm lost in the moment. I swear I could levitate. They never believed that I would really fly. I had to go demonstrate. I had to set them straight. They hate when you elevate. Elevate, elevate. They hate when you elevate. Elevate, elevate. Yeah. They hate when you elevate. Elevate, elevate. They hate when you elevate. Yeah. I had to elevate. I'm way too fly. Yeah, I'm feeling myself. Ain't no chance I'm coming down, no. Got a soul view to myself, yeah. Why would I give it up? Why do they wanna come take my place? I work too hard for it, don't need a replacement. This my vocation, now I got rollies, all in rotation. Hop on a jet just to take a vacation. Remember the moments was trapped in the basement. Now the hard work is all taking me places. Water all blood like we trapped in the matrix. Better I'm playing it, don't see the planet, I know that it can't. I ain't make it this far for myself, yeah. I had to prove to everybody else. I had to set them straight. Yeah, I had to ball.
Salute, Jonathan 97. Scott, Tony Augustine, Great Gambino, what's goody?
Feel like I'm floating, I'm lost in the moment. I swear I could levitate. They never believed that I would really fly. I had to go demonstrate. I had to set them straight. They hate when you elevate, elevate, elevate. They hate when you elevate, elevate, elevate. Yeah, they hate when you elevate, elevate, elevate. They hate when you elevate. Yeah, I had to elevate. Ooh, yeah. Why they wanna...
Yeah. What's really good? Oh, we back at it for another one. You know how I do it. It's the Mondays. The whole week done came full circle. Man, so much stuff happens inside of like 5 days, like 5 to 7 days. It's crazy. Like when you just be gone for like 5-6 days, and then you come back, and it's just a whole bunch of ish going on, man. Like there's just so much going on. Like, I mean, it's so much. I don't know where to begin. You know what I mean? Obviously, the boxing is here, right? The boxing is definitely here. A lot of boxing this weekend, man. I was actually at one moment like watching on two different screens, two different things going on. I had the Golden Boy situation getting together, and then Top Rank was coming together, and there was some great fights on both cards. We got an youngest undisputed female champion. You know what I mean? And Gabrielle Fundora. Congratulations to the Queen. And won it in stellar fashion. And obviously we seen Schofield perform this weekend. We seen O'Shaquie Foster get his revenge, and he put himself back in the right conversation. We're going to talk about that as well. So many things happening. We got Turkey Al-Sheikh, who just made an acquisition of some sort. We got to talk about what that looks like, because he didn't necessarily sign Monster Inoue, but at the same time looks like he signed Monster Inoue, right? Very similar to the Terrence Crawford and Jared Anderson situation. We'll see what that pans out to and what that really means in real time as far as where we are with it. And then, of course, going into this weekend, we definitely have two great cards. Probably one of the best weekends of boxing coming up, in my opinion, depending on, the kind of boxing you like. But when you think about Jerome Boutin, Keyshawn Davis, right? When you think about those two cards coming up, those are just two different conversations to get into. Salute Country Q in the building. Salute, King. AJ Moore, salute. Sonny Augustine, salute. Seen Unseen Boxing, salute, King. Yeah, man, all that, man. And then, of course, the drama in the YouTube space with an old friend. It just seemed like it hit a hole. And Pro Box, exactly, Country Q. Pro Box got a card coming up too in Belfast, right? Got the Belfast card coming up in on Pro Box. That's gonna be the first time doing an international look for them. So that's another thing we could talk about as well. And then everything else that happens, right? Everything else that happens. I don't know where to start. I'll start off with this. How you doing, Ray? It's been a while. Ray's been on his grind, working, getting his career going. You guys know Ray went to school again, got certified in different areas, and then finally is in the field. And it's been kind of demanding on his hours. So he hasn't been here for a minute. But here he is tonight, here to give us some time. I don't think he's going to be here all night, but he's going to be here for a good minute to build with us. So how you been, Ray, man? You see Ray got the shape up. He looking cleaner, right? Look how he getting some money. Let's be real. Look how he getting a little more money.
Actually,
oh, man. The sound.
Oh, you hear me? Hear me? Test 1, 2. All right. Yeah, I said I just burnt it in yesterday. Yeah, I just did the cleanup on the chin yesterday. But salute to everybody, man. Salute for real. Glad to see everybody in the chat. You know what I mean? Shout out to Country Q, Sonny Augustine. You know what I mean? Just want to give my praise to the channel, man, because we're doing our thing and we representing 100%.
Yeah, no doubt, man. Yeah, 3 billion. I know, Greg Gambino, 3 billion, right? Well, it's 3 billion in Japanese money.
That's yen.
Yen. Right,
so
3 billion.
That's only $300.
Ain't no $300. What are you talking about,
yen?
bro?
3 billion in yen is $300, bro.
No, it's not, bro. It's
just
not.
I thought 100,000 yen was like a dollar.
I don't know what it translates to like that, but I know that it's $19.7 million. You know what I'm saying? That he's getting. That's what he's getting, bro. This dude said $300,000. That's $19.7 million that he's getting. You know, Turkey. Turkey striking again. You know what I mean? Turkey just making the moves, man. And if people want to deny it and they want to make it I think it's got to be understood. What's understood don't need to be said, right? We don't need to keep beating the same horse. Turkey is moving aggressively in the boxing space. He's making big moves. He's attempting to get the best, fighting the best, as we've always professed. This time last year, I was a damn outcast to the boxing space because what I was speaking on was ridiculous. It was unpatriotic. It was sellout. Nowadays, it's pretty much becoming, you know what I mean, the norm, right? What's understood don't need to be said. Turkey's doing what he's doing, and you know, and people are moving around it. Their moves that they're making, they're factoring in Turkey now, right? Shout out to Frank Warren, who just also signed a big deal with DAZN as well. He just joined the DAZN family, so now you got Frank Warren, you got Queensberry, you got Matchroom, you got Golden Boy all under the DAZN right now. Top Rank is in the air doing what they're doing, right? But they seem like they're going to be getting in line as well pretty soon. And you know, PBC, we don't know what's going on with the PBC, right? There's so many rumors going on with them, with what's going on with the Tank fight and the Tank and Lamont Roach fight, which we'll talk about tonight, of course. And you know, the whole venue situation, whether it's money, whether it's a venue. There's a lot of things going on when it comes to that conversation. But Turkey stays consistent. Turkey stays in the conversation when it comes to the biggest events going down in boxing, right? We don't got to BS about it. What we got here? You think Al left because of Turkey? Greg Gambino, I don't know why Al left. I'll be honest with you. It may be a combination of Turkey and a combination of just Al is getting, you know, I'm hearing that, you know, as far as health concerns are going, you know, not necessarily going the best for Al right now. Prayers out to him. Hope everything's working out for him, but he may just not be as committed to the sport of boxing as boxing would want him to commit to it, right? He's a businessman first and foremost, and the best business plan and the best business idea and strategy is what Al's going to approach. And if he's not able to operate in the same capacity that he did when he was at his peak with the business, he may be taking, you know, he may be entertaining alternative, you know what I'm saying, plans on, you know, maybe taking out his profit, getting out while it's good, and, you know, going into his retirement years comfortable, dealing with whatever illness that he's dealing with. So we don't know what Al's doing. You know what I mean? We don't know what Al's doing. But the PBC only's done 5 events this year, and we'll talk about that as well, right? We're definitely going to talk about that as well. We'll talk about I hear Bill Haney in the FBI. Honestly, I didn't do too much research in that. I don't know if I care so much. I didn't hear too much about it. It sounds like a bunch of he say, she say. I really didn't see nothing legitimate. I don't know if Ray, if you bumped into anything like official and legitimate as far as the Bill Haney FBI situation is concerned. Right. So I don't even want to speak on it like that because I don't even know what's going on. I've heard it sounding more like rumors and speculation, nothing official, no FBI. I ain't see no like credible news sources speaking on it. Just a bunch of YouTubers, putting together, being Columbo, putting together stuff and coming up to what I don't know. I don't want to throw no shade on nobody, but nothing worthwhile speaking on or speculating on over here, right? So you know what I mean? We'll wait for that to develop. Let's see. Chris Brooks, salute to Chris Brooks in the building. Saying flat out Tank versus Roach. I want to see, but I'm not paying no $70 to $80. It's not worth it. That's 100%. And I'm gonna tell you, there's not too much worth $70 to $80 right now in a space where Turkey Al-Sheikh is putting on some of the most competitive cards for $20. So you really got to be really matchmaker wise. You got to really be really good, man. You got to make these cards really heavy. You got to really stack these cards up to match that. And I don't know if the PBC, I don't know what's going on with the budget of the PBC, but it just doesn't look like they're in the space to facilitate those type of cards, right? So we just got to see what's happening with that and everything, and see what's going on with that. Hold on a second here. 1 second. Okay. Yeah, Blue called me, but he probably sees I'm online now. So yeah, man, that part, and we got to talk about the divisions and the name it. Shout out to the thumbnail, the facelift. I really want to politic about 130 and 135 pound division tonight. We'll speak in the 147 pound division as well, a little bit in the 154. But now that this weekend moved things around just a little bit, right? Like Raymond Mortala, I'm saying, in a powerful position, had a great performance, really came off of 2 lackluster performances, and then this weekend really made a statement, disparaging of his opponent inside of like 2-3 rounds. And now, of course, what he's ranked at in the WBO rankings, in contention to see who's going to get to Dennis Berinchek. Keyshawn Davis performing and showing out on his own card, headlining his own card in Norfolk, Virginia, which from what I understand is already sold out. The city is embracing him and his brothers, and a pretty decent stat card against a good opponent in Gustavo Lemos. And one would say that the matchmaking for Keyshawn this year has put him in a position to kind of take the helm a little bit at Top Rank. Now that combine that with Shakur Stevenson leaving Top Rank, and Top Rank kind of looking for that next standout star on that roster. I mean, you would say Vasily Lomachenko would be your go-to, but at the same time, he's not been active. He doesn't look like he's concerned about being active, and rumors even going around that he may be retiring. So Top Rank looking for that next face. Teofimo probably thought it was going to be him. Doesn't look like he's getting along with what Bob Arum has planned, and seems to be pushing back at that. Keyshawn looks like he's in a good spot to lock in his spot, especially with the performances he's had this year against Jose Pedraza and then Miguel Medueno, and then going into this Gustavo Lemos fight. If he's able to really shine the way he has in his last 2 fights, more than likely, I would think that he's probably going to get the go ahead and challenge Dennis Berinchek for that WBO title over Raymond Mortala. Now, also hearing rumors of the IBF potentially becoming vacant if Vasily Lomachenko moves on and retires out of boxing. That does have a belt floating out there for somebody like a Raymond Mortala to get involved in that conversation, maybe challenge somebody getting a conversation to become an IBF champion. Puts Bob Arum in a good position if he's able to have 2 fighters like Raymond Mortala and Keyshawn Davis with titles in that division. When you look at Shakur Stevenson, you look at obviously Gervonta Tank Davis, 135, kind of starts to take speed a little bit. And then we'll also address rumors of Tank Davis potentially considering vacating a WBA title, 135 pounds, to potentially move up to 140 pounds to compete up there, which I think would shut us all up, right? I don't know how everybody in the chat feels, but if he was to go ahead and take that move and go to 140, that would shut me up. I don't know about you, Ray, but that would have me like, all right, let's talk. Let's chop it up. You naturally think he'd fight the winner between Isak and Rayo, right? For that WBA title, leverage and get right into the title conversation up there if he did go up there. But we'll talk about all that stuff, right? And then get into the weekend's activities, of course, as well. And the cards coming up this weekend. So what do you want to start at, Ray? How you feeling? What you feel like?
I mean, it's a heavy week, bro. Like it's been crazy. I mean, we talk pretty much every day, so we pretty much on board with everything. I guess we can start with the weekend, man, because the boxing is what's important. That's what we up here for, man. That's what pays the bills. So, I mean, if we're gonna talk about anything, we need to talk about what happened these last 2 fights. I would like to start, if we can, with the Schofield fight, man, and I think that was very eye-opening to us. So, I mean, that right there is something that we can look into and talk about and build on real quick, if you don't mind.
No doubt. No doubt. Well, listen, man. I would say going into the fight, right? What I would ask you, first of all, going into the fight, you know, for me, and I think you're pretty much the same. Going into a fight, you have expectations, right? Salute to my brother, Blue Blood. I saw that call, Blue. See what I was doing, though. Couldn't answer it. Going into that fight, what were you expecting to see? Like, what were you looking for? Like, I mean, Floyd Schofield's obviously been talking a little bit spicy lately. He's been a little bit more vocal. Senior's always been vocal. And we've seen his last couple performances. But going into this performance, it's like, were you looking for something from him? Or, I mean, were the boxes already checked? Or did you want to see some improvements? Did you want to see him stop this guy? Did you expect him to make a statement? What were you looking forward to see going into the fight?
See if he learned anything from his last 2 fights. Was he going to stay there and be the aggressive Sean Porter type, or you know what I mean, just like overly aggressive and not set up the fight, go back to boxing, or was he going to settle down, look for shots, box his opponent, end up with a nice key victory, solidify himself in the top 10. To me, he's there through rankings, but he's not there as a fighter. It's a lot of weaknesses there, man, and it's a lot of head case situations. I mean, see how they dealt with each other, because I think
You're breaking up bad. You're breaking up bad. Yeah, you like frozen too. Salute Shakir Fields. Salute, Mr. Big Play Bray. Chris Book says he didn't have a performance to say he would ready for the league guys. Right. Like, I mean, Rick Tim, salute, King. Going into the fight, I'm very similar to what you were saying, Ray. You know, I was saying to myself, well, he's talking about fighting Shakur, he's talking about fighting Tank. And like you said, his rankings are there for it, right? As far as on paper, it seems like he's in the conversation. But boxing skill-wise, there were a lot of holes in his game that we all were looking at. We all understood, like, all right, well, Schofield is there on paper, but, you know, what he's accomplished, he's an undefeated fighter, of course. And sometimes we could talk about that as well. That could work to a fighter's, you know, that works negative towards a fighter at times. Somebody like Floyd Schofield, who's getting the victories he's getting and being as reckless as he is while he's getting those victories, might really be enabling some bad habits in him. Because some of these fighters just won't improve until they hit a wall, right? And if he's successful in what he's doing, a lot of fighters grab that as, hey man, it ain't broke, why fix it? And they end up just carrying these bad habits into the biggest fights of their lives. And we'd have to admit that right now, after we saw Floyd Schofield this weekend perform against, you know, a guy who can absorb a lot of punishment, right? What was the guy's name who he fought again? Rene Hiron, right? Yeah, Rene Tellez Hiron. Turned out to be a dude, you know, with a decent little record. You know what I mean? 20 wins, 3 losses. I think that's including the loss against Floyd Schofield. Really came in. Not too many people know who he is, but at the same time, now he has 4 losses, 13 knockouts. He really ended up being a real durable dude. And with the way Schofield fights, if he doesn't hurt you, then he has to kind of resort back into boxing, right? He has to go back into what brought him to the big show at some point in time. And it didn't seem like he was comfortable transitioning back in that space. And he wasn't taking direction as well from his corner, right? Like his father couldn't get through to him. And that seemed to cause problems because he was just constantly headhunting. He even got hurt a little early in the fight. Really got clipped inside of that second, third round, inside of that area, really got clipped really early, was on funny legs, and we saw him miss the stool when he tried to sit down. That was an awkward situation for him as well. But it seemed like more of an exposing. Even inside of that win, there was a lot more loss still there for the world to see, and people were just basically like, yeah, you're not ready for the Tank Davises and the Shakur Stevensons, and honestly, you're not ready for a lot of guys in the division. That Floyd Schofield we saw in the ring isn't ready for a lot of fighters in the top 10. What do you say?
And what I talked about, I think we talked next morning, right, or that evening, and I was like, the first thing Tank, I see Tank right now, like, yo, let's make this fight happen. Let's get it going. Yo, I'm about to get this dude out the way. Check that box. He don't stand a chance. Why? And then what Shakur put out there? Food. Yum, yum, pause. No disrespect, no diddy, but he definitely put it out there like, yo, this dude he's a cakewalk. And having these, what's up, Drew Titan in the building. Shout that man out, get him the horns.
Salute, Drew, salute.
No, and it shows, buddy. It shows you when you have a lack. And I've seen this gentleman box before. I've seen this young kid box before. I know he can box, but it just seems that he just has this mentality of being this superstar, this knockout artist, and he's going in there risky. I think I even talked to you if he's going to be doing stuff like this and fighting like this. What's up, Legacy over Currency? Salute. He needs to get somebody that's going. That first of all, he throws that jump hook that you know what I mean, he doesn't really jab much. I was like, he need to work with somebody like Roy Jones would be a perfect fit for him. That's somebody he needs to work with, maybe even get into training with him and let Roy Jones teach him up on some of those. So he gonna like, you know, when to get back like counter, he knows how to slip.
You're breaking up, bro. You're breaking up real bad. Yeah, you sound like the Matrix right now. You sound like you're in and out the Matrix.
I'm gonna hit you on the phone. I'm gonna hit you on the voice box.
Yeah. You know, yeah, everything Ray Davis said and then some, right? You saw the disconnect with him and his father. You know, guys, I'm gonna speculate a little bit here with Floyd Schofield. Bear with me while I do this a little bit. We all know that Schofield Sr. seems to have grabbed, you know, he's a leader in the situation, right? In the whole entire Floyd Schofield Jr. Journey, right, that we're watching. And I feel like starting when Schofield first came out, there was a lot more promise. And I don't want to say that he's digressed, but I am going to say that ultimately you're starting to see the impact of some sort of dysfunction there. Because if you guys pay attention to the way Senior kind of carries it in interviews he did, specifically in the interview he did with Cigar Talk, he was speaking towards the development of the brain, right? That, you know, that a boy doesn't get his brain fully developed. The frontal lobe isn't fully developed until he's like 25, 24, 25, 26 years old. I don't remember what the age was, but it was definitely older than what Schofield is right now. Now, you look at Schofield Jr. right now, he just had a son, right? He's a man in his own right, without a doubt. I mean, I'm sure he's going to go to man prison if he does a crime. He's voting. He can drink. He has money. He has, you know, he can obviously make kids. So this is not a person who's a child anymore. And it just seems like with some father-son boxing relationships in this space, there's a hard time letting go. A hard time letting the boy run out and become a man, from boy to man, right? And it seems like you're starting to see Schofield Jr. want to become a little bit more confident, a little bit more outspoken for himself. You're seeing the interviews. You see Floyd Schofield Sr. not allowing him to have solo interviews, to speak for himself, to get his own ideas out there, and obviously make mistakes as well, say things that maybe he shouldn't say, things of that nature. But what's happening is, I'm thinking what I saw in the ring Saturday night was a little rebelliousness, where you saw Senior trying to get through to Junior and tell Junior to stay behind that jab, not chase this guy down. You don't have to mix it up with him like that. He got short arms. Stop giving him opportunities to clip you. You're getting hit with shots you don't need to be getting hit with. And it seemed like he was pushing back a little bit and trying to like make a statement that he could get this guy out his way. And it just looked sloppy and messy. You know what I mean? He was switching a lot for no reason, in and out, the southpaw, orthodox to southpaw. He was moving around, taking a lot of chances that he really didn't need to take. And for me, it's gotten to the point to where, all right, well, if you're talking about going into these big fights against Tank Davis, you're talking about going against Shakur Stevenson, you're talking about being a champion in 135 pounds, and that, you know, you have smoke for everybody. There needs to be some consistency in the functionality with the relationship between him and his father and him and his corner in general. Does that make any sense what I'm saying, Ray?
Absolutely, 100%. That's what I'm getting at. That's what I'm saying. Like, he needs to find somebody that's going to meet his style that he's trying to go after. It just looked like he got away from boxing. Believe it or not, I think about 3 years ago, Rick Timms and I were both talking. Shout out to Rick Timms, because Rick Timms was a big fan of Kid Austin. He was talking about him left and right, and I'm like, yo, that dude he's a nice kid. He's a good. And that's when he's a prospect. And I remember talking about and building with Rick Timms on this, and he's just not that guy that he was then. He's just like I said, he's more of he's like a hothead. He had a guy right in front of him that was willing to walk in and take shots, like get clipped trying to get a shot off, but yet he's out there and being aggressive, and he's getting clipped because he's not being patient with his opponent. It's a lack of patience, and then not being able to listen to your corner or take those things for what it is, which are for granted. You know what I mean? That's what you have a corner for, so they can tell you what's going on, what they see. So, you know what I mean? The outside looking in, as they say, right?
Mm-hmm.
Dude ain't doing all that. He's sitting there on something different. Like, yo, listen, I need to go out here and just win this fight. Like, his mindset is just entertain. And like you said, yeah, he's got a puncher's chance. You know what I mean? He's pretty quick. He's agile. He's athletic. He's got a puncher's chance to get it done with any of these guys, any of these big names, especially on a bad day of those guys. But at the same time, the way he fights, bro, these guys are looking it up like, yo, I'm just gonna sit here and let you walk into something. You don't even look like you want to be in the ring with anybody. You look like I don't know, bro. It just looks bad.
Yeah.
What's up, 2 cents?
What's up, Queen? It did, man. It looked bad for him, and it looked bad as a team. As a team, even Oscar De La Hoya had to come in the ring when he was interviewed about it. Wasn't very happy with the performance. You know what I mean? Said he had a C, graded him, gave him a C minus. Salute Bullet Gibson, gave him a C minus grade for the fight. So even in a victory, he took a lot more loss than victory. Like, he won. I mean, I'm not saying the decision was bad. It was a good decision. He clearly won, in my opinion. But, you can't help but when somebody like Senior talks the way he's talking, the first thing you're going to do is compare his performance, and you're going to put him in the ring with Shakur. You're going to put him in there with Tank. You're going to put him in there with Keyshawn, Raymond Moratala. You're going to start thinking about all these things, and he just didn't seem like he was checking the boxes for that. Like I said, the Floyd Schofield we saw Saturday night, and I say that because I believe we've seen better Floyd Schofields than what we saw Saturday night. But that guy we saw Saturday night, you can't favor him to win against none of the top upper echelon fighters at 135 pounds. But let's continue to move the needle a little bit and say, regardless of whatever we think and what everybody else thinks inside of this chat, he is number 2 in the WBA rankings, right? And on paper, he has legitimate rights to fight for belts and fight the top guys, because on paper, he is who he is. So moving forward with him, I mean, do we take him back and bring him back to fighting, fresh prospect to contender fighters who've shown promise but aren't the top guys? Or is this a time for him to capitalize on these opportunities that are in front of him, and he just has to barbecue and mildew? He has to make those adjustments, take those chances. He's an exciting fighter. It'll sell. You know what I mean? He's going to give that performance whether he wins or he loses. That's good for the fans. He provides that for the fans. Does Floyd Schofield move forward and just continue to learn as he moves forward, or is it time for him to take a step back? And what does that look like for him if we are talking about a step back?
I mean, we're in a division where there's a lot of newcomers to the division. A lot of people come out of the prospect range, and rightfully so, a lot of people moving out the division. And unfortunately, the guys he's calling out, he's not even in the WBC ranking.
Hold on. I don't mean to cut you off. I just want to get at this thing that I put up here. I put it up here for a reason. Jerome Bland says, listen, I feel it's no need to have a great trainer like Ronnie Shields in the corner, and don't let him be the head trainer. What do you think about that?
I agree. That right there speaks to itself. But was he going to listen to Ronnie as well? Like, we have to look at it as, is he just being a hard-headed little brat? or is he just don't get along with his dad? I mean, that's where it comes into question. Like, will Ronnie be able to do anything? Did he listen to Ronnie when Ronnie did give advice when his dad asked Ronnie for advice? Like, what difference would it have made at that point? Because it seems like Schofield's on his own mission. I mean, let me be honest with you. I think he's on his own mission. He's going to find out, just like Chris Colbert, he's going to end up clipped in the baby clutches, climbing over the ropes, trying to get up and telling the guy, let's run it back. At the end of the fight, if he keeps this up. Yeah, man, and that's a great point. Like, having Ronnie Shields there should have been a great point. I'm sorry, a great factor. But it's like, what happened? You know what I mean? You did all this training. You had a great trainer there. What did y'all work on? I'm pretty sure Ronnie didn't have you doing this running commando style boxing tactic where you was just doing the Tiafimo, as I call it. You know what I mean? Jumping in with these jump hooks and hoping you catch and land something. These things like this is just a dangerous way to box, bro, and it doesn't work on everybody. You are now in the elite stages of boxing right now. You're no longer a prospect. You're no longer in that late contender stage where you're fighting journeymen and gatekeepers, bro. You're actually starting to fight these elite guys, and even guys that are not even at the B level. You know what I mean? They're no longer the C level, D level guys. So this is definitely going to change for these guys, for him in this point. And like I say, he's not even ranked to be calling out what I was going with earlier in the WBC to even be calling out Shakur. He's not ranked in the WBC. He's only ranked in I think 1 or 2 of the belt sanctions. So that's just crazy. He just needs to stick where he's at. He's at the WBA, excuse me. He's number 2 there. I think that's where he needs to stick at. I mean, like I said, I think Tank looking his chops like, yo, let me just knock this kid block off and keep it moving. So, I mean, it is what it is, bro. I just don't want him to be another example of Rolly Romero just doing dumb shit and getting caught and career just going down from there. That's all.
Right. Salute to the Queen, 2 cents in the building. What's good, Queen? How you doing this evening?
What up, y'all? Can you hear me? I'm driving right now.
Nah, yeah, definitely can hear you. How you feeling?
What's up, Queen?
I just wanted to get my 2 cents real quick on the Floyd Schofield thing. I don't know how much y'all talked about. I just hopped in. But my first question is, was this his first 12-round fight?
Yes.
Was it? I think it was.
Yes.
So how was he ranked number 2?
Because he moved up the rankings. I think the last number 2 had moved down. Who was that before him? It was Keyshawn, wasn't it? No, it was Maratala.
Let me see if
Maratala was.
Hold on, let me just make sure. Let's just be sure that's what it is. Hold on. That's a
while we're doing that, I just wanted to
yeah, it's first 12 round. Yep, go ahead.
Yeah, so that's his first 12-round fight. I just want to say, like, I think as the fans, or like, we kind of need a balance and understand that these fighters are prospects and they do need time to be built up. I know they looking good right now, or they performing a certain way, and fans have a certain perception of them, but you got to understand at the same time, these fighters are kind of being built up. They're put in the ring with people that could possibly give them a challenge, but they're supposed to beat them, right? And so when you get the fans start to notice a prospect and they look good, and then you got his father coming out like, oh, I want the Tank Davis, I want the Shakur Stevens. I don't think that those fathers should be doing that, because it puts an unrealistic expectation on those fighters. And a lot of people giving Schofield a hard time. He didn't look like this. He's not ready for this. He's not ready for that, which is all true. But at the same time, he is still being built up. And to me, it just showed, he still needs some work to do. He wasn't listening to his corner. He was trying to get the knockout, which was a rookie mistake. He got knocked down. He was able to get up and still win the fight, overcome adversity. Allegedly, he didn't know it was a 12-round fight, so he was able to overcome that. Because you got to imagine you preparing for a 10-round fight or whatever it was supposed to be, and then fight night, it's like, oh, it's 12. Mentally, that could mess you up. So I feel like he showed a lot of resilience. He showed a lot of mental toughness, in my opinion, overcoming that. And he also showed that he's still a prospect, and he still has things he needs to work on, him and his father. So the way his father was yelling at him in the corner, I'm like, dude, that's not how this supposed to be working.
No doubt.
You know what I'm saying? You don't know how his father was making him feel over there in that corner. He was tired. He wasn't expecting to fight 12 rounds. He got necked down. He stopped listening. You know, all of these things, but it just proves the point that he is a prospect. Give him time to build himself up. I get it. He's number 2 in the rankings, but at the same time, this is his first 12-round fight. So what expectations are y'all having? Not every good prospect is a prodigy like that. You can't just rush them like that. Give them time to build and and I think that the issue that's going on right now in boxing is just like such a gap between the top fighters and then the fighters coming up. Because like I said, that none of them are necessarily prodigies like that, where you're just going to be able to throw them in the ring with these top elite fighters. They need time. So I think that's part of the issue, and also their dad or even the fighters themselves putting unrealistic expectations on themselves. And then when they get in the ring and do something that doesn't warrant the harsh criticism, and people don't understand why. But that's why. It's just the unrealistic expectation. So I think Floyd Schofield, you know, he could have fought better, but I mean, he a prospect. This is his first 12-round fight. He stepped up the competition a little bit. He struggled a little bit, overcame adversity, but he was able to still come out with the win. So, I mean, I see it more as a positive than negative. And I hear a lot of people trying to make it out to be, and I get it. But I just think the unrealistic expectations these fathers are putting on these fighters, I just think they need to stop that. And that's my 2 cents about that.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I question how much, like, I think legitimately calling him a prospect, and it's, you know, we can do that, right? We can say because he's a young guy and where he's at, but you know, he's a ranked contender, you know what I'm saying, at this point. I mean, if he's in title contentions and he can legitimately have rights to activate mandatories soon, maybe not right now this moment, but he's right around the corner from it. He's kind of been forced into that position, right? They try to fast track him, and I agree with you that his development looks like it just hasn't caught up, but he's where he's at. And at this point, it's a question of whether he's going to go backwards right now or whether he's going to move forward, right? Let me say salute to 2 people in the building right now. Shout out to Drew Titan in the building. Yo, salute, Drew. Big fan of your show.
Salute.
That's awesome to see you come up here and show some love. Thank you. And Bullet Gibson also in the building. Definitely want to get you guys' 2 cents on this and have you guys tap into the conversation as well as far as where Schofield is.
I'm sorry, Claymore. Let me be real quick because I'm not going to be long. But salute to the panel. Because I'm running. I got to get home and do my own thing. Salute to y'all and salute to the Queen. The reason why I came in is because of something that she said is very key. She said this was his first 12-round fight.
Right.
Now, with that being said, is anybody on Twitter? Because I'm not. I don't deal with that. It's a little crazy up there. But anybody? Because I need y'all to look something up because I was sent a screenshot of something this morning.
Yeah, I'll look it up right now. What's
up? If you go to Floyd Schofield's Twitter, right? I heard that his dad is on it. It's not really him running it. And he put up a tweet. Is this accurate? That he put up a tweet stating that they came to the locker room at the last minute and made it a 12-round fight. It was really scheduled for 10, but they made it a 12-round and they had to renegotiate something in the locker room. Is that accurate?
Yeah,
I saw a screenshot.
Yeah,
okay, so
here. I can pull it up right now, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, if you can read that. I don't know if everyone else knows that. That's kind of crazy.
Mm-hmm,
yeah, that's what, not to cut you off, Drew, but I was just saying that they came in and told him it was a 12-round fight at the last minute, and I was just highlighting the point that mentally he was able to overcome that. You've been spending your whole training camp preparing for 10 rounds, and they like, oh, it's 12. That's something he mentally has to overcome.
And that's crazy because he got dropped in the 11th. You know what I'm saying? That's strange. I mean, I don't know how the money, I'm not like the business brain. I don't like to get involved in that, but I'm saying, you got to divide that up and throw some extra bread on that for me to go an additional 2 rounds, because what if that drop was something more serious? You understand?
Right.
And that's insane. That's insane. It's a 10-8 round. Now we can officially say in his pro career he's been dropped because of that. You understand? Mm-hmm. Now so that's true. That did happen. Okay.
Yeah,
you gonna say something, brother? Go ahead.
Yeah. So listen, I actually hear what you guys are saying. I want to put this really in great perspective. Now, this gentleman trains like every other fighter. He's now at the championship level. he should be training for 12 rounds regardless. Another thing is he's fought 5 10-round fights. He doesn't plan to go the distance. The way he came out early in this fight and the way he carried on in the fight, and this is just a little pushback, is he didn't plan on surviving and going 10 rounds, even if it was a 10-round fight. He planned on getting this guy up out of there the way he was fighting, being very aggressive and passionate with the knockout. He didn't come in there to box to last or to conserve energy. With that being said, I mean, that goes to a lack of training. Now, like I said, this is on hindsight 2020 because we just seen the fight. But if we were to, like Tusa said, and I agree with her, if we were to listen to what his dad said, this guy the baddest thinks is sliced bread. He's supposed to go in there and do it no matter what. Whether it's 12 rounds, 14 rounds, 16 rounds, that was on him. He's the one that didn't prepare for whatever the outcome was. I mean, it's boxing. You're supposed to get your world work in for plus rounds, so you're not tiring yourself out. So you do go extra rounds or whatever the case may be. That's where you're at. I digress on anything else on the conversation, but I just think that's a great point on both sides. But it is what it is.
No. I agree 110%. As far as how the actual outcome of the fight, I mean, he got the win, but I wouldn't trust him with anything at this point.
Moving forward,
what I will say is this. His father's doing a lot of talking, and it's unfortunate because he's doing all the talking. He got to back it up, and we're not impressed with what we saw. You know, his father running his mouth, that's a different thing. I'm looking at the kid and what he did in the ring, and I give him like a C, not a plus or a minus. I'm just giving him a C. I just was not impressed with this. I'm just looking at people saying they want to see, what's this kid's name? Giro? They want to see him again. Giron. They want to see him again, thinking that this might be the Eastside Cruz 2.0 type thing. You know, they're looking at it like that because he almost made it a gunfight in the first or second round.
Wow.
And they were like, no, don't do that. You know what I mean? And I'm not. I heard the Sean Porter, the comparisons. Look, the kid's not strong enough, and he don't have to be Sean Porter. He don't have to do that. I'm not really comfortable with him dealing with the guys in the top 4 with his skill set. I'm not convinced he could survive. And right now, Shakur boxes his face in. So stop trying to get this kid like these prime fights. Stop doing that. He's not ready right now. Now, unfortunately, we can see guys that are not ready right now, but if the rankings say they're ready, they're gonna have to perform. And I heard the brother say earlier,
right? Like if the opportunity knocks, does he walk away from it and be honest with himself, or does he move forward?
And he might end up like Rolly, bro. Do you really want that?
People have been comparing them. They've been comparing. I've heard people talking about
man.
Bringing up Rolly.
Rolly, everything was okay with Rolly until it wasn't okay. You understand? And we got history shows us there was always guys like this, and then they put him in there, and you find out, oh, he wasn't that. I'll go back to, I'm showing my age a little bit. I'll go back to when John Mugabe was knocking over trees, and he was heir to the throne. And as a matter of fact, a lot of y'all don't know, Marvin Hagler was the underdog in that fight because he was an old person on his way out the door.
Right.
And Marvin said, yo, hold my beer. And I don't even drink beer, but hold it anyway. I'm going to crack it and put the lemon in it, and you hold it anyway. And he beat the crap out of John Mugabe down the stretch. He said, yo, young man, you're not ready yet. And Mugabe wasn't the same since. So Rolly Romero was a bit of an animal, and Tank took care of that. Now he's a bit fugazi. So I'm looking at this kid, and I'm like, yo, this was supposed to be a showcase fight. And look what happened. Vernon Forrest, Ricardo Mayorga. That was supposed to be a showcase fight. And then what happened?
Is it possible that Schofield just had a horrible night? Is it possible that he's able to tighten? Because look, no matter how the fight looks, him and his father seem to be ever confident and ever committed to the idea that they're ready for the biggest fights. They don't their thoughts aren't aligned with us, right? What we're talking right now, the things we're seeing, the things that we're talking about, it seems like they know better for themselves, right? They're like, yeah, everybody's sleeping on what happened that night. We had our stumps in a row, but if you feel like we're weak, go ahead and give us a shot. They're still, if you ask me, they're looking to go fight Tank tomorrow. They're looking to go fight Shakur Stevenson the next day. They think they're ready. They think their time is right now. Is it possible Floyd Schofield just really had a bad night Saturday night? The 12
Do
rounds.
you trust them? With those names you mentioned, do you trust them to win?
I don't trust him to win, no. But the question is, how do we know until we know? Does he just move forward? Because look,
what's he ranked right now?
At the same time, he's a young guy. Can he take the loss? If he's going to lose, isn't it best to lose against a Tank Davis or Shakur Stevenson? Or does he, you know what I mean? Does he, what does he have to lose?
Well, when he gets that fight and he loses, there's no light work at that point. And that's what I'm saying with all these guys. There's no light work.
Yeah.
If you get in there with Tank and you get offed, I mean, there's no light work coming back. What do? You know what I'm saying? What do? You know, I mean, it's top 3 guys moving out. You lost to Tank, so what? You know what I'm saying? You gotta wipe your face and get up again if you can. But I think putting him in the ring with Tank right now is premature. And you know, you might want all the work, but it might not work out for you. And I'm not comfortable. And I know it's about trash talking and talking up your prodigy, talking up your son. But look, man, you got to be realistic. Yeah, ride that line for a little while. But yo, listen, I gotta pack it up, man. Thank you, Claymore. Much love and appreciation.
Thank you for coming by, bro. It was
have a good show. All right, good brother. Thank you so much.
Yep. Bullet, go ahead, tap in, brother, because I know you've been here for a minute, man. I definitely want to hear what you got to share on this one.
I was to say what Ray kind of said in terms of can you hear me? I might be choppy because you know I'm at work, but I was going to say what Ray kind of said. It's kind of his style. That's just his style. His style of fight is to try to get you up out of there, throw good haymakers, use his athleticism to jump in and land certain shots. He go to the body sometimes pretty well, but he jumps in general. That's just that's a style thing. Style make fights. He fought a guy that's come forward and meet him right there, and that's throwing hooks and haymakers and up close, the dirty boxing and shit like that. He's throwing them rabbit punches to the back of the head and shit like that. Right. I don't really care much about Kid Austin, but I like to see the fights. He won the international belt, I believe, like 4 fights ago, which kind of boosted him up in the rankings. That's how he got up to the number 2 spot. He won the international belt, I think like 3 or 4 fights ago. We have to see the fights because I'm one of those guys where when Devin was 18 or when she was 18 and he was caught the big names, there was no, well, maybe he need to wait. Nah, let's get it. He want Robert Easter. Okay, let's get it. Oh, Shakur calling out blase blah. Let's get it. You can't hold one person's hand and then the other one be like, oh nah, he ready now, and then push him and say, oh, he ain't fight nobody. Well, the kids say he's trying to fight people. A couple years ago, his name and Keyshawn Davis' name was in the same sentence. So you can't hold him back from what they trying to do. That's the only thing I'm saying. If they're in a ranking system, and I know this is his first 12-round fight, if they're in a ranking system and they're able to fight, go in there and prove it. I think they looking at these fights, they think they can win, and also they looking at the monetary value. They saying, okay, I can win some money fighting these fights. The objective as a professional boxer is to win the money. You know what I'm saying? And build great legacy. So
no doubt.
Let them fight.
Let me salute to Bruce Gas Boxing in the building. Bruce Gas, honor to have you in the building. Historian, scholar, and a gentleman in the building. I appreciate you being in the building. Salute Texas 16 South in the building as well. I want to bring in some other guys in here as well, man. Let me bring in my guy Inevitable D Block right quick, man, because I know he finna cook. He's smoking less. D Block, you want to pass? You want to enjoy your smoke a little bit, or you ready to cook? You know, I ain't gonna rush you, brother. I know how you do already. If you're ready to cook, it's open for you. How you feeling?
Beautiful. Revolution is coming, my people.
Oh,
Revolution is coming.
speak
You
on
know,
it.
I posted this video on X. I love X. I think it did like 29,000 views.
Yeah, you
And
killing it by the way on X. I see you,
yeah,
man. You doing your thing, all right. You really
and,
doing
and,
it.
and, and the people want the truth. They want the truth.
Right.
They don't want to sugarcoat this shit no more.
Mm-hmm.
How do we go like this, Clay? How do we go like this for people don't get upset? We don't ruffle some feathers. But guess what?
There's no avoiding it. There's no avoiding it.
Yeah, no avoiding it. You know how it is. Sometimes people they see somebody and they think of a myth, a legend, somebody that they think is gonna be something, but then they don't realize he's human just like all of us. You're human. You gotta be. You bleed just like me. You take a shit just like me. You pee just like me. You human. I ain't gonna look at you as a superhero. That's when we were little kids.
Right.
And I'm glad that 2024 has shown us that Tank Davis is not who they say he is. He does not control anything at all. I'm glad for the whole cap of Dan Raphael saying it was all cap. And at the end of the day, the next day comes and then he has a sad emoji. And then he goes against Schofield, says, you saying all this blasphemy stuff against the youngin, that he ain't in that pedigree yet, but he's trying. He's doing the best he could do in his abilities. Then I posted it with him and I said, look, Javante, they canceled your fight. Why you tripping on somebody else? I thought it was all cap. Oh, and everybody from Baltimore went at me. Oh, who is this D-Block damn bastard? How dare he go against our mighty Tank Davis? But guess what? That's why I respect you, Clay. No matter how many bullets they try to go at you, bro, on YouTube, you know who I'm talking about. You know how many people are. You kept on going with that same line. You said, nope, I'm not going to let nobody detract me from saying the truth. See, my brother, when you say the truth, people hate that. When you say the truth, people are not going to respect you because they want you to lie to them. And I'm glad, Clay, I respect you because you are a real, true G. And that's all I got to say for that.
Thank you, D-Block. I appreciate that, brother. We got Blue Blood Sports and Hackett. Thank you for your patience, brother. But we got some needle movers in the building. I want to give him a chance to speak. You good back there? You still alive? You breathing, boxing, Hackett? You good?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good.
All right, hold it down for me, brother. Give me a second, man. Blue Blood Sports in the building. Let's go, no, I don't hear you, brother. You quiet. I don't know if you're on mute. I think you're on mute. You're on mute.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, you good.
What's shaking?
Man, we just building, man. We building on Schofield and trying to process this whole entire situation that he's in, because he's in a situation, Blue. He's in a situation where he's giving us a lackluster performance. Well, listen, I don't want to say lackluster because he was taking chances. He was being an exciting fighter. He was going for it. We like to see that as fans, which is another part of this conversation as well, because worst case scenario, no matter what you guys might think about whether he's ready or he's not ready, one thing I can tell you he's ready to do is give an exciting fight, right? When you think about Jaime McGee and Canelo Alvarez, when you think about Edgar Berlanga too and Canelo Alvarez, fighters that I think pretty much everybody said weren't ready for those opportunities. They gave great fights at a minimum, and it did good things for their careers because they learned about themselves. They learned great things about what they need to improve in, and he obviously made a whole lot of money, right? So it seems like Schofield right now in the present moment is in a situation where maybe he's not ready, but at the same time, on paper, it seems like there's a lot of opportunities that are about to open up for him. What direction does he go in? Does he take the chance, move forward, probably take the L? Does he go backwards? Is he going to be honest with himself? What do you see for Schofield? And what do you think of the performance as well?
I think that he got a lot of work to do. And I say a lot of work based off of the level of competition that he's looking to compete against. You know what I'm saying? If he was just talking about competing, not at the Shakur, Tank, Devin, T.O., Ryan level, it's understandable, right? Everybody has those performances where they got to do better. You know what I'm saying? They got performances where it wasn't the best performance. You know what I'm saying? It's growing pains. But what I saw from him in that fight wasn't growing pains. It was a lot of deficiencies, a lot of holes
squaring up, a lot of major mistakes that you can't make if you're talking about fighting at that level.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? You can't fight at that level doing what he did. You know what I mean? Making those mistakes. You just simply can't. You know what I mean? It won't allow you to be successful. So with that said, that's a terrible idea, in my opinion, with him trying to fight these guys.
Mm-hmm.
He's 22 years old. Take your time and fight other competition. You know what I'm saying? Fight competition that's, you know what I'm saying, on it. There's nothing wrong with saying, listen, I got some more kinks to get out. I got some more adjustments I need to be made. There's some more experience I need to garner before I go to that level. There's nothing wrong with that. You know what I'm saying? The youngest,
Salute, Blue. How's it going, bro? I didn't mean to cut you off. I just had a question. I was talking to Clay about this, and I was saying, with the style he's trying, like he changed to from what he used to box. Like, I keep bringing up Roy Jones. Do you think that's somebody he should sort out as a trainer, or do you think he should stick with like Ronnie Shields, maybe his father, and just keep going? Because I think if he goes with somebody like Roy Jones, with the athleticism he has, he may be successful in that style. I mean, you're only as good as your last fight, and we just seen what he looked like, 12 fight, 10 fight, whatever the case may be. I mean, round, excuse me. Whatever the case may be, but that's on him, bro. That's not on us. You know what I mean? Like we're just the spectators, we're the fans. And I think when we see things like this, we are allowed to question, is this where your heart is? Is this what you're willing to do, or how you're willing to put things in motion to make it a success? Because I just think that we're not seeing that with this young man. I just think that there's a disconnect somewhere. That was just my question to you.
yeah, I think his Roy Jones is not a good fit for him. I don't think.
Okay.
I think he needs somebody that's going to be fundamentally, technically teaching him not to make the, because his athletic ability is there, right?
Mm-hmm.
But his ability to judge distance and range and when to throw punches and when not is questionable. You know what I'm saying? So I think that Roy Jones, yeah, he relied on a lot of reflexes. I think he's the most athletically gifted boxer in boxing history. That had that success. I'm pretty sure there was guys that was just as athletic and explosive, but they didn't have the success Roy had. With the success and the accomplishments, I think Roy is the most athletically gifted fighter we ever seen with his reflexes. And I think that when you're dealing with a Roy Jones, yeah, he can teach you the fundamentals, but I think that Roy Jones, like Michael Jordan, like Jerry Rice, you know, they'll have a hard time teaching you the fundamentals and identifying, because the things that they were able to do was not humanly possible in sports. You know what I'm saying? They just did things that they can't even explain. You know what I mean? And so I think that he needs to be with somebody that's gonna just buckle down fundamentals repeatedly and focus on that. That, along with his athletic ability, I think would just soar him to different heights. But I think that his dad, when you're dealing with your son and he's successful and you in your kid's life, yeah, you think he can compete with the world, you know what I'm saying? But you have to identify, you know, there was a lot of amateur mistakes, down to him missing a stool, you know what I'm saying? Missing a stool and going through the ropes, like, bro, you know what I'm saying? Like, you want him to compete and be in a conversation with those dudes, but at the same time, it don't look like you focus on the fundamentals. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, he's a tough kid. Yes, he's explosive. Yes, he's athletic. Man, he needs fundamentals, bro. You know what I'm saying? His defense black to me. You know what I mean? He squared up way too many times. He threw wild hooks. It was like watching Sean Porter. Now I know I heard some people saying Sean Porter, he's more clean with his punches. I don't think so. I think that, you know, Sean Porter plan was to smother you. That was his whole game plan. I don't think Kid Austin's plan is to smother you. He just don't understand the distance. There's a difference. Sean Porter, he wanted to smother you and smother your offense so you couldn't extend your arms, and he had the advantage on the inside. You know what I mean? I
Right.
don't think that's Kid Austin's game plan. That's not planned. I just think that he just finds himself in those positions because he just simply don't judge the distance very well. You know what I'm saying? And then because he don't judge the distance very well, he finds himself in the pocket like a Sean Porter. But you know, it's just a lot of holes that I just seen, and I think that like Ronnie Shields or you know, somebody's just gonna teach fundamentals, man, fundamentals, you know, and discipline, man. He just like I was watching that fight, and I'm like, bro, all these dudes just pick him apart. They gonna pick him apart, and you dealing with a guy like Tank. Tank will mess around and end his career. You play around with Shakur, he'll derail your career because he gonna derail your career confidence wise. You know what I'm saying? He may not knock him out, but just confidence. Shakur is a master at understanding and judging and making decisions on distance. You know what I mean? And Tank is a master of letting you come to him. As far as Devin, I just don't see it happening. Devin just a weight class above. But Teofimo Lopez as well. But these guys are counter punchers. You know what I'm saying? They know how to judge distance extremely well. And I just didn't see. I seen a lot of times he was squared up. I saw a lot of times he was just out of position. You know, and what's the adjustment? You know what I'm saying? I didn't hear no or see no adjustment in the corner. Nothing that said that. You know,
I feel like I heard Senior like trying to get him to slow down and stay behind the jab, and he maybe touch the body a little bit more and not chase the knockout, wait for it to come to him. It did seem like at some point in time, Junior kind of went rogue a little bit. Like he was in there like hearing his father, but kind of doing his own thing to a degree. In there, like he saw opportunities to go ahead and yo, here for boxing is stupid. You know what I'm saying? Salute here for boxing, man. Said so good I might cry. He being an asshole. But you know, it seemed like he was going rogue in there at times. You know what I'm saying? It seems like he was going rogue in there at times. So I mean, I'm not too sure. I do want to bring in Boxing Hacker as well. Let him cook real quick, and then obviously Rick Timms as well. I know Boxing Hacker been waiting forever. Go ahead, Boo.
Well, let me say this though, right? Mm-hmm. When fighters go rogue like that,
mm-hmm.
typically when fighters go rogue and don't listen to their corner, it's mm-hmm. later on in their career. Mm-hmm. Not when they're 22. You know what I'm saying? When Terrence Crawford, quote unquote, went rogue against Gigas Kavalauskas, look how accomplished and where he was at in his career. You know what I'm saying? Typically, when Floyd fought Cotto, remember, and his corner was like, "Bro, what are you doing?" You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Look how far along his career where they feel like they see something that you don't see. You know what I'm saying? But at 22, if you're not listening to your father and you going rogue at 22 years of age, there's a problem.
There's a disconnect. That's what I'm saying. There's a dysfunction there. And I like I spoke to a little bit earlier as far as my little speculation on it. I mean, obviously I don't have the answers, but I would say that it does look like Floyd Schofield Jr. is definitely hitting I'm a grown man stage. You know, and you know, he has a son now, and it seems like he's pushing back a little bit at the idea that his father has to like lead him in every situation, controlling his social media, sitting in with him with all these interviews, not letting him kind of like get full sentences out without his father like protecting him from himself. Even the comments his father made about his frontal lobe of his brain not fully developed yet until they're like 25, 26. And why would he let him speak on his own and make mistakes? You know, really babying him. Junior might have been pushing back a little bit on that whole entire energy, kind of showing his, you know, his adulthood a little bit in that ring. Even in the interviews, if you just pay attention to his post-conference interview, he was cutting his father off a little bit more, being a little more aggressive. The father was kind of like standing there, but, you know, Schofield wanted to speak for himself. Especially when it comes to getting these fights against Tank and Shakur. But let me bring in And Boxing Hackers. I know he's been sitting there for a minute. Boxing Hacker. Go ahead, Bill, man. How you doing, by the way, family? Thanks for your patience.
That's all good. Salute to you, Claymore. Salute to you, Blue Blood in chat.
Hold on. Let me just shout out to Drew Titan LLC with the $5 holla. I appreciate you, family. Thank you, man. Great boxing discussion. This is refreshing. Thank you, Drew. Appreciate it, brother. Go ahead, Boxing Hacker.
Yeah, so I have an opposite opinion on this, right?
Sure.
To me, I think at the end of the day, like, hey, he had 2 bad rounds, right? Lomachenko lost his second fight, and he threw him into a title shot the next fight around. You know, if he believes he can do, why not let him try? You know, we always say like, oh, this person's not ready, but at the end of the day, like, he's been boxing all his life. You know, he is who he is. You know, and I think the changes he needs aren't changes that are like so drastic that like it'll take him years to accomplish. You know, you know, especially when you look at the fact they said that, you know, like, oh, we trained for a 10-round fight. You know, I know a lot of people look at that as like, oh, they didn't have stamina, but the reality is when you're training for less rounds, you also train to throw more punches. So the less rounds you have, the more punches you have to throw because you don't have that many rounds to keep in the bank. You know, so in that case, so it makes sense like the way he approached the fight because maybe he thought, hey, I was a 10-round fight. We trained to be more attacking versus a 12-round fight where you can pick your shots more, you know? So with that being said, I just think like at the end of the day, like, yeah, if he feels, as long as he's not capping, because, you know, I sort of feel like they cap a little bit. If they feel like, you know, like they're about that business and they're about that work, hey, I like the energy, you know? You know, like I said, I thought the fight was a good fight. I think he just took chances. At the end of the day, if you take that many chances in a fight, you know, one thing Coach Kenny always said, like, people, you deserve, like, the person you're fighting deserves to hit you because they train to hit you, you know? So at the end of the day, the other guy trained hard too. So if you take that many chances, there's always a chance that you might get clocked or cracked or anything like that. It's boxing. You know, so that's why I on that.
No doubt. Salute Ray Davis with a $10 holler from co-host to host. Salute my brother. Let's keep winning. Yeah, man. I go from co-host to host. Go co-hosting Blue back hosting the channel, right? I'm the hardest working man in the boxing content creation space. Nah, ain't nobody work harder than Blue, bro. For real. I'm trying to keep up with him. I want to tap in. I want to bring in Rick Timms as well, because I definitely want to share my thoughts on this a little bit as well. But I want to hear Rick Timms. I ain't seen you on the panel in a long time, brother. How you doing? You back in the car? It's the evening, the light shining on you. I know you got something that you want to contribute to the conversation. So how you feeling?
Man, I'm feeling lovely I'm feeling lovely. It's some nice stuff walking by. Hey man, check this out, y'all. Look, man, I just heard D Block mention Tank a little bit. I heard Blue just mention Tank a little bit. Man, I've been out of the loop the last 2 pushing 3 weeks, man. I've been missing a lot of boxing talk, y'all. And man, I see it's some drama brewing everywhere. And my only concern though about this Tank stuff is, will the Tank and Roach fight still be here in Houston? Will that still happen here in Houston? That's all I want to know, dog. Will that still happen here in Houston?
I don't think none of us.
Anybody got that answer?
I don't think so. I don't think nobody's going to give you that answer on this panel, bro. And we in the darkness like everybody else. I'll say this though. I think this Tank Lamont Roach situation is opening up conversations that are deeper than Tank and Lamont Roach. That's what I'm going to say. I'm going to say whatever is going on is deeper than Tank and Lamont Roach. That's what I believe. I think it's not. I think Tank and Lamont Roach is the tip of the iceberg. I think what's under the water way outweighs what's above the water. We'll see how it plays out in the next coming weeks. You know what I mean? In the next coming weeks, we'll see what happens, Albert. You know? But as far as no, go ahead, Blue.
The truth of the matter is that people don't want to, again, it goes back to the truth. You know what I'm saying? You can filibuster all you want. You can try to, deflect the situation all you want to, right? There is no rhyme and reason, right? People can try to argue this this venue nonsense as much as they possibly can. The fact remains is that there is no rhyme and reason why the venue would be blocking the fight from happening. There's no logical reason. None. Right?
Hey, Blue, that's man, Blue. I don't know what the hell been going on. That's why the fight been postponed, because Toyota Center officials blocked the fight.
No. That's the smoke screen that they've been trying to throw up, in my opinion. You know what I mean? But that's what I believe. You know what I mean?
It ain't even an opinion. It's a fact. The fact is that there is no way on this green earth you can convince anybody that the venue where Al Heyman and the PBC is the reasoning that the fight is not happening. That just sounds ridiculous. It sounds ridiculous. It is ridiculous. It's absurd to say that the reason that these gentlemen are not fighting December 14th, they both agreed to the fight. They both agreed to, according to Lamont Roach. Lamont Roach didn't even know the fight was postponed. He didn't even know the fight was postponed. Right? They announced that they're fighting at the Toyota Center. Okay? That's false advertisement. If you got an issue with the venue, how in the world are you announcing that you fighting at the Toyota Center? So somebody relayed the information bad to Tank Davis? Repeatedly? So 72 hours before, Dan Raphael says that there's an issue with the venue. Somebody tells me, no, there's an issue with the money. A couple of days later, Tank Davis tweets out, everything is still a go. I'm still fighting in Houston. Meaning nothing changed. Yet, the next day, he's putting crying frown emojis. And then we getting word that, oh yeah, it's going to be postponed possibly to January. And the reason is the venue sounds ridiculous when the venue is still available. It just makes no sense.
I mean, I got to be honest, it doesn't, man. And I've been saying it, but Blue, honestly, Blue, I've been being patient about this, and me and you talking on older panels. I was talking to you about stuff like this when you were calming me down in January and in December when you were like, it's too soon. We got to see what happens. Is what they said they're going to do. But we're in the fourth quarter, bro. We're in the fourth quarter of the year, man. It is what it is, man. We'll see how it pans out, but yeah, it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't add up. There's only so long you can go cooking that way. Go ahead.
Yeah, Clay. But why is Blue and Clay? Why the pushback though? Why are they definitely pushing back and not understanding what we're not idiots? We're not idiots, but they're trying to push back, saying that we are. How are we idiots if the facts are right there in front of you? Go ahead.
Listen,
I'm
about to hop off. Can I jump in? Yeah, D-Block, salute, man. I didn't even know you was there, man. That's my brother, man. All y'all my brothers. Y'all know how we rock. Rick Tibbs, D-Block, Boxing Hacker, Clay, for sure. Blue, for sure. You know what I mean? Listen, the whole situation is, everybody bases their shit off of speculation. They all base it off of their hero and what tights he's wearing that day. It gets crazy. Nobody sits there and wants to have common sense and let things play out. They always just want to jump to conclusions. And when they do that, they create these narratives, and then it gets pushed back. And then the pushback just keeps creating more problems. And then it becomes arguments for no reason, just because we want to win. It's not about winning, bro. It's just about just letting things play out and be what it is. And that's where the failure is happening right now. And this is why Boxing Talk overwhelms the debate system. Because you're never going to win when you're in the situation where you don't have true evidence. And that's what it comes down to. All right, I'm going to head out, man. Salute. Thanks for having me. Catch up with y'all.
And this is another thing, right? Right, Ray? If you go to BoxRec, it still says Toyota Center. Bro, how is it still saying Toyota Center? And the Toyota Center is saying they're not even, it's not booked.
Yeah, I think that is weird too, as well, Blue. As far as that's concerned, as far as the ability to say a fight's going to be somewhere, and it's factually everybody knows right now it's not booked for that date.
Hey, salute, guys.
Weird. It's weird.
My bad, guys.
Salute.
I'm about to hop off, y'all.
But guys,
so,
I do want to. No doubt, Boxing Hacker. I want to push forward as well as a little bit on the conversation because there's a whole lot of stuff going on in boxing outside of this Tank Davis, Lamont Roach PBC thing. But I think at the end of the day, like I said earlier, the tip of the iceberg, what's under the water, is way bigger than what's above the water. And I think some people are comfortable with having the conversation, and some people just look at it as hating, and they don't like the way it makes them feel about their favorite promotional company, or it makes them uncomfortable, so they don't want to talk about it. So it's all good. It is what it is. What will be, what will be, we will see it. What's in the dark will come out to the light. It can't stay there.
Hey, Clay, I gotta go. Can I say one last thing and I'm gonna roll out?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, Rick, get ready, brother. That fight ain't happening in Houston. I'm telling you right now. It ain't gonna happen, brother. Get ready to go to Las Vegas, my brother. I'm sorry. I know Houston is this the second time he does this to Houstonites, brother. I'm sorry he got to do that to you, my brother. Blue, nothing but appreciation, respect for you, Clay. You know where we coming. You know where we at on X. It's inevitable. D Block, D Town, DC, DVille, coming at you live from Dallas.
No doubt, D Block. But guys, so as far as the Schofield situation is concerned, as far as I'm concerned, fight, bro. That's how I look at it. I look at his fight, because I'm gonna tell you right now, from a fan's point of view, not look, if I'm his trainer, if I'm his manager, if I'm somebody who has vested interest in his success, I don't go and move forward and fight Tank or Shakur, none of those guys. He's not ready. But as far as a boxing fan is concerned, you know why I have no problem with him fighting Tank or fighting Shakur? Because I know he's going to press Shakur, and he's going to make Shakur whoop his ass. And I want to see Shakur in an exciting fight where he's forced to whoop somebody's ass, where he can't just run around and no excuses. Just somebody who's going to put that pressure on you and force the fight to happen. And I know he's going to get hit a lot, and I know Shakur is going to look good doing it. As far as Tank is concerned, yeah, bro, I think he's going to press Tank. He's going to put Tank in a situation where he's going to force Tank to knock his ass out and give Tank that. It's going to be, he's an exciting dance partner. He's the kind of fighter that's going to get in the ring, and us as fans are going to sit home and be like, God, that was a good ass fight. Them 3 rounds and 5 rounds and 4 rounds, those 6 rounds was a fire. You know what I'm saying? And he was pressing it and he wasn't stopping. So we win as fans seeing Schofield fight those fights. And look, as far as he's concerned, maybe he can walk away with a beneficial ass whooping. Maybe an ass whooping is what he needs right now to listen to his corner. Maybe the ass whooping is what he needs right now to get motivated to tap into the fundamentals, to be more defensively responsible, to not just leap into everything. I've got a picture on my thumbnail right here, and I called this thumbnail, shout out to the thumbnail. I said the facelift. Because my man got scars on his face. He looks like a grown-ass old man. He looks like he's been fighting his whole life. He look like, you know what I mean? But he's only 22 years old. He looked like a 36-year-old boxing veteran, bro. He's got way too much scar tissue on his face. He's seen way too much, pressure on his face from getting punched in his face. If a good ass whooping ain't going to do it, nothing else will. You know what I'm saying? Especially when him and his daddy calling out the best. I mean, on paper, it's his right. It's his right to call out the best man. So let the best man win. And hopefully every fan wins when we see him fight. You know what I'm saying? But I wanted to move the needle and go into another conversation, which was the old Shaqy Foster and Robson Conceição fight. We saw Shaqy Foster put himself back in the conversation this weekend, gentlemen. Right? He's back in the title. He's got a WBC title. We know Lamont Roach is a champion down there, even though he's the one. We just talked about him fighting Gervonta Tank Davis. We got Emmanuel Navarrete and Oscar Valdez in a few weeks getting ready to fight. And as Emmanuel Navarrete is defending his WBO title, and O'Shaqui says he's on his way up there. He says he's on his way up there. He wants the winner of that fight. But let's talk about the fight between Robson Conceição and O'Shaqui Foster. How do you guys feel about O'Shaqui Foster in that fight? 36 years old, man. What do you guys think about him now?
The performance, I didn't like it.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't like the performance at all. I think it was underwhelming.
I missed it.
Yeah, it was, to me, it was underwhelming performance. I thought he could have did a lot better than what he did. I thought that, you know, he let Robson have way too many moments in that fight. I thought that he never took control. It was a close fight. I think that the moment that he hurt Robson, I think that was like 10th, 11th round or something like that, with a right hand. That kind of swayed the judges and the people's opinion that he won the fight from that point forward. Because that was, you know, that I think that was the separating factor. But it wasn't what I expected from him. But I knew, I told you this, Clay. I think that he's gonna press the fight because he felt the pressure from the judges not giving him the first fight. I felt like he was gonna make mistakes and leave himself vulnerable to be countered by Robson Casasio, and that's what happened. You know what I mean? He just had too many moments where he just wasn't active. Too many lackluster moments in the fight, and the fight was way too close. And when you going against a guy like Robson Casasio, you know, you got to separate yourself. You know what I'm saying? Shakur dominated that dude. You know what I'm saying? Right. When you trying to be cast in the same light as those dudes, you got to make a statement against those dudes. You know what I'm saying? Those are the measuring sticks that the fans look to when they trying to judge how you were fair, or if they even want to see you in the ring with those names. You know what I'm saying? And he didn't make the statement that I expected him to make. It was way too close of a fight. Now I want to see him fight a guy like Oscar Valdez. You know what I'm saying? Somebody like that. Or like you said, Emmanuel Navarrete. But, you know, I just think it was his moment. It was his opportunity. Yeah, he got the victory, but it was close. It was so close that if they said Robson Casasio won the fight, I wouldn't be mad. If they said it was a draw, I wouldn't be mad. And he shouldn't be in fights like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, not. And Robson is a very good fighter, but those are the fights, those are the moments, those are the opportunities that you got to separate yourself. Those are the times where you got to separate yourself and say, listen, I'm a level above this dude. You know what I'm saying? Now you got to put me in a conversation. But he didn't do that. He didn't do that.
Yeah.
You know?
I think stylistically, I think that's just one of those was stylistically just complicated fights. Casasio is an Olympian, man. You know, this guy is a tough guy as well. I mean, when he fought Emmanuel Navarrete, he got knocked down like 2-3 times in that fight, ended up taking that fight to an actual draw, an actual legitimate draw with the current WBO champion in the division. You know, Shaki's getting older. You know what I mean? You know, there were points in times where I had aspirations of potentially seeing him go to 135. People were thinking that he might be a guy who maybe if he was a champion, maybe Tank would have gave him a shot, maybe. You know what I'm saying? That might have been a good fight. But yeah, the fighter I saw in the ring against Robinson Casasio seems like he was just stylistically with the wrong person. I think if he gets in the ring with Emmanuel Navarrete or Oscar Valdez, that we're going to see some great stuff come out of O'Shaquie Foster in those fights, because those guys are going to stylistically present him the opportunities to shine. Casasio knows how to survive. He understands how to control distance. He understands when to clinch. He's an intelligent fighter who knows how to play that game well. And I think it might have made him look worse than he really is. But at the same time, acknowledging his age, acknowledging him growing, and also acknowledging that this is his time to do something great in the division. So I think he's making the right move, trying to look to fight against the winner between those two guys, and then ultimately, you know, waiting for Lamont Roach to come back into the division once he's done with Tank Davis and defend his WBA title. And of course, we got a silent killer in the background and Raymond Ford, who just entered 130, who also has plans on stirring things up. I think O'Shaquie Foster kind of adds, now that he's a champion, I think 130 kind of got a facelift with him as a champion. I think Robinson Casasio was just he can make a fight boring. He can make somebody look really, he knows how to do that. You know what I mean? And he's older. I'm happy he's out the way. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm happy he's out the way. I'm happy Foster got that WBC title, and I think we'll see a better performance out of him next time. I'm hoping we'll see a better performance out of him next time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel that way too, man. You know, hey, listening to both of y'all, just the illustration I'm getting since I missed the fight. It sounds like, you know, it sounds like he won ugly, you know, kind of like them Baltimore Ravens with Trent Dilfer, you know. Hell, Ray Lewis was more the, you know, the head honcho than Trent Dilfer was. And, you know, hey, sometimes you gotta win ugly. And Clay, you just hit it on the head, man. Conceição got that veteran savvy to know how to survive and stretch out them rounds and take you on to the finish. So he got his title back. I mean, we're gonna see what he can do next, man. All he can do is go forward. You know, salute to him. Salute to getting that title back, you know, because, hey, the last fight was razor sharp. Could have went in any way. So salute to him, and we're going to see what he going to do. I got to bounce too, fellas, and good chopping up with y'all again. Blue and Clay. Good stuff, man.
Yeah, definitely. No doubt, brother.
All right.
See you next time. I appreciate you, man. I definitely want to see what O'Shaquie's going to do, but I do think it gives the division a facelift, Blue. I ain't going to lie. I think 130 becomes more interesting with O'Shaquie as a champion than it was without him as a champion. But I do agree with you that he looks superhuman and super regular in there with Conceição, and it just wasn't a good look for him. It didn't look good. He didn't look good. You know what I mean? He just did not look good Saturday night. But I do, like I said, believe Conceição is just that kind of fighter that can make you not look good. You know what I mean? He ran it with Navarrete. Navarrete is an exciting fighter, bro, and he just wouldn't go nowhere. You know what I'm saying? And took it all the way to a draw. You know what I mean? Made it a draw. Is Navarrete now not him? Or is it just that damn Conceição, that Olympian Conceição that's just a pain in the ass? Maybe he's better than we're giving him credit for.
No, 1,000%. But what I was saying is, like, 1,000% I agree. What I was just saying is that those are the moments and the opportunities to separate yourself. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes,
like,
sir. Yes, sir.
Conceição, you gotta separate yourself in those fights. You gotta separate yourself to be in the comment. He's 31 years old. You know what I'm saying? And he's viewed as a quote unquote journeyman. You know what I'm saying? Right. And again, like you say, styles make fights, and sometimes you face a guy and it's just a bad style matchup. Just like a drag out, you know what I'm saying, grinder type of fight. 1,000% I agree.
Because he just knew, like, every time Foster would kind of start letting his hands go and get a little momentum, Conceição timed it perfectly and would just clinch him, like jump right into him, like time it out and just grab him. You know what I'm saying? And just hold him, and it just made it I don't know, it just got ugly in there. Definitely got ugly in there.
You know what? I just didn't see the adjustment. That's what if that, you know what I'm saying? I wanted to see him make the perfect adjustment to offset what Conceição was doing. You know what I'm saying? And I just, for the talent that I think that he has, I think that he could have did a lot better. And maybe against, again, you know, you fight Emmanuel Navarrete, Oscar Valdez, you know what I'm saying? You know, you're more athletic than they are, naturally bigger than they are, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And again, it could be the style matchup, but as a fan of his, I was just slightly disappointed in the performance.
Yeah, I definitely acknowledge the ugliness of it. I definitely acknowledge it. And he might consider doing something with his hair because it looked like that thing was getting away a little bit. It is what it is, though, right? What'd you think about I want to tap into the so many different things I wanted to tap into. I don't want to come back to Tank, but we got to come back to Tank real quick, right? And this has nothing to do with no venues or no money or anything like that, but it does have something to do with the money a little bit, right? But I'm so happy that you're on the up here with me tonight, because this is a conversation that I think you're going to have a lot to contribute to. Floyd Schofield, Sr. and Jr. were on that interview with Cigar Talk, and they went in a direction speaking about how Tank Davis was considering vacating that WBA title at the lightweight division and moving up to 140. You know, you got to take what they say with a grain of salt. You don't really take, you know, they be clout chasing a little bit thirsty. But, you know, the reason I'm giving it a little validation and I'm entertaining it and wanting to go further into the rabbit hole about this part of the conversation is because a lot of people are speculating that Amazon was probably playing a vital part as to why this fight wasn't put together for December 14th, that they actually have vested interest in Tank Davis's career right now, being that there is some sort of a deal that people are saying is real, somewhere between 200 to 240 million that they guaranteed to Tank Davis. But though that deal came with contingencies on how they plan on recouping that money based off of obviously the bigger fights that he can make, right? At 135, it seems like he's limited to the big fights. If they're giving him that much money, 200 to 240 million dollars, then he's limited a little bit inside that 135-pound division. I mean, you got Shakur Stevenson there as an option. Lomachenko looks like he might be stepping out of the picture. Then you can kind of look at maybe a Keyshawn Davis, or there's not too many fights there. It seems like most of the big money opportunity, the big fights, are going to be in a space where Tank Davis is really challenging himself. You know what I mean? 140 feels like it checks the box for an Amazon Prime's interest, for them to get the most money they can to be part of the biggest fight. What do you think about that?
Well, there's big fights at 135. The Loma and the Shakur fight, that's 2 fights. Eventually, for that money, if Loma stays. Eventually, for the money that they're looking for, you're going to have to go and compete at, a different weight class. You know what I'm saying? You're going to have to, you got to seek out big fights. You know what I'm saying? But they got to allow Tank to have some fights. You know what I'm saying? It's just not possible for him to fight the best every single, the quote unquote, every single out. He has to have, again, when you look at Floyd's situation, remember, he fought Robert Guerrero. He fought Madonna. You know what I'm saying? Those are 2 fights that wasn't Manny Pacquiao and Canelo Alvarez. You know what I'm saying? So it's possible for him to go ahead and have a Floyd Schofield type of fight. Because in 7, let's say it's 7 fights like they said. If it's truly 7 fights like they said, well, even if he fought, let's say back to back, he fought T.O., Devin, Shakur, and who else? T.O., Devin, Shakur, and that's pretty much it, right? At the highest level. Let's say he wins
at the highest level.
Yeah, at the highest level. Let's say he wins all those fights, right? He's still got 4 more fights.
Winner Ryo Isak. That's another one you can put in there.
That's another one. He still got 3 more.
Then he do those at 135.
Yeah, a Floyd Schofield fight. Those fights is the Lamont Roach. You don't need 2 of those. You know what I'm saying? And then somebody else hopefully starts to rise to the occasion. You know what I'm saying? Starts to make the name for themselves.
Yeah.
To put in that conversation.
And then you'll probably have some dudes naturally move 130. What guys from 130 might come up to 135, make it happen? Shaqy Forster could make a move for 135. Yeah. I don't know, but I thought what they said.
He needs those. He needs somebody else to make names for themselves, or he could rematch the Ryan. You know what I'm saying? But it's just hard. The 7 fights, you know what I mean, for that type of money, it gets hard. You know what I'm saying? You can't. It ain't. It's only Devin, Shakur, T.O. He already fought Ryan. He already beat Isaac Cruz. You know what I'm saying? Is Ryo a blockbuster fight? No, but it's a solid fight.
Yeah. You're breaking up bad. You got it's like a robot. I hope that ain't my connection. Can you hear you? It looks like you came back to normal. Say something.
It's probably mine. Yeah, no.
Okay.
Yeah, it's my wife keeps calling me. That's what happened.
Okay. I think regardless, this deal that Tank has with Amazon Prime is going to involve some big fights, because if they're trying to recoup on 240 million, 200 plus million, whatever that number is, it's not going to be done with just any fighter. It has to be, the right fights have to be made. And it just seems inevitable that Tank is going to have to weigh out making at least a couple of moves to 140, going up there and fighting 1 or 2 fights, maybe even 3 fights up there around 140, just to be some challenging fights that'll get the crowds going and you know, help Amazon get closer to recouping that money. 135, Moratala won his fight as well, right? Raymond Moratala won his fight. Who did Raymond fight again? Oh God, who'd you fight, Raymond? Raymond, who'd you fight? Oh goodness. You know who Raymond Moratala fought?
No,
I think it was.
Let me look.
I'm about to pull it up right now. He fought Jesus Antonio Perez Campos. That's who he fought. But
okay.
he TKO'd and got that guy out of there in the second round. He made his statement. Jesus Perez, exactly. Europe, salute Ty Morissette. What's good, King? He got him out the way. And you know, he's right there in those rankings in the WBO. He's actually over Keyshawn Davis. But it looks like the Keyshawn Davis situation, it just looks like Keyshawn's going to be the guy at top rank. They look like they're pushing him to be the face of top rank damn near. You know, he got his own event, obviously, in his own hometown. And I heard that the tickets already sold out. I heard it's doing great. All he has to do is deliver in his performance. What about Moratala, though? What's his next move look like is going to be? Any predictions for him? I mean, he can... I don't know.
There's a lot of, you know, I don't know, man. You know, there's big fights I want to see him in. You know what I'm saying? It's like a lot of feet dragging with the biggest fight. You know what I mean? If you listen to him, he'll tell you that, you know, they're ducking him, right? But we need to see these dudes in the biggest fights possible. You know what I'm saying? And that's the only way we're going to be able to start to judge really where they at and what they can do. You know what I mean? I mean, he's 27, bro.
Yeah.
He's 27 years of age. You know what I'm saying? When is the day we going to get, you know, he's 27 with 22 fights already.
And he's number 1 or number 2 in the WBO rankings. Right. He's number 1 or number 2 in the WBO rankings. I don't know exactly. Hold on. Let me see where he's at. In the WBO rankings, Raymond's number 2 right now, behind William Zepeda, who's already committed to fighting for a WBC title. You know, William Zepeda's number 1 across the board. But Raymond Moratala's got that number. But on the IBF, it's interesting enough, though, because him and Keyshawn are right there next to each other, right? Some people are screaming out for the Keyshawn Moratala fight instead of Keyshawn going ahead and moving towards a Dennis Berinchyk or Vasily Lomachenko, that, you know, maybe those 2 guys fight for that spot. You think that makes sense to see Raymond Moratala and Keyshawn Davis go at it, to kind of like, that's a big fight for each one of them, and, you know, kind of eliminates one of them and puts the other guy in a position to get a title one way or the other.
1,000%. 1,000%. You know what I'm saying? I like the Keyshawn getting the Dennis Berinchyk fight. Dennis Berinchyk fight. I like that fight for him. It puts him in conversation with a Tank Davis. You know what I'm saying? He could defend his title against Raymond. You know, so I like that. You know what I mean? I think that's the best strategic move for Keyshawn. You know what I mean? Go get that belt, because I have no doubt he's gonna beat Dennis Berinchyk. Go get that belt.
Wait. Just to be clear, bro, you're saying don't fight Raymond. Go for that title. And then make it a title fight between him and Raymond Moratala.
Then you can defend your belt. Yeah. Now you're defending your belt against a certified fighter. You know what I'm saying? A big fight defense. You can beat him. You know what I'm saying? You make a statement. Now you legit in those conversations. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's what
that does mean. But, I mean, Moratala's going to stay busy in between that time.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Start to build towards it. That's the thing we don't have enough of building towards these fights. You feel me?
Right.
Just not enough building towards the fight.
Now, next year is going to be an interesting year for 135 because you see how they're fast tracking Abdullah, right? He's fighting this coming weekend as well on that Keyshawn Davis card. That'll be his 7th fight in the calendar year. They fast tracking him. They're getting him ready to make a move. I would say next year we can see him getting into some sort of title contention conversation. It looks like that's what Bob Arum is trying to do. It looks like they're fast tracking him to put him somewhere in this conversation. And of course, we can't walk away from Floyd Schofield. He's there no matter how you want to look at it. He's part of the conversation as well. Frank Martin is still there. We got Andy Cruz also coming up through there. You know what I mean? Andy's at number 7 right now in the IBF rankings. Let me see. Is he? Yeah, he's number 6 in the WBC rankings. And yeah, that's only 2 places. And he's not even top 10 in the WBO. They're all going to get pushed up there. I don't see Abdullah Mason in any of these conversations, but you got to think that they're going to be there. Now, there's also, I'm going to tell you the fight I think Raymond Mortala should get involved in. A keep busy fight of sorts. I think Raymond Mortala, Mark Chamberlain from out of England, the UK. Mark Chamberlain just came off of a loss, but it was a big time upset. But he was right before that loss. He was in the conversation of also fighting Dennis Berinchyk as well. They were trying to line him up with Dennis Berinchyk to get a shot at that WBO title. He's out of that conversation now because of the loss he just took. What do you think about Mark Chamberlain? And then, of course, honorable player and Edwin De Los Santos also in the conversation, looking for something to do, looking for something to get involved with. What do you see? Those 2 guys, do you see Raymond Mortala being able to make a big fight with one of those guys? Maybe even Turkey get involved because Mark Chamberlain is Turkey's guy. Raymond Mortala is Oscar's guy. Oscar got a little bit of relationship with Turkey. Maybe some money in there for Williams Zepeda as well. I mean, not Williams Zepeda, for Raymond Mortala as well. Maybe even seeing Keyshawn. I don't know. I don't want to go too far because I could see Keyshawn defending his title against Raymond Mortala on a Turkey card as well, getting some money. But what do you think about Mark Chamberlain and Edwin De Los Santos getting involved in the conversation?
Oh, I love it. I love it. These are the fights you need to get those experience. These are the fights that I'm saying that Floyd Schofield needs. Those are the fights he needs.
He needs to get involved with De Los Santos or Mark Chamberlain.
That's what I'm trying to say. He needs to get in those types of conversations with those dudes so that, listen, you make a statement against these dudes. You feel me? You know what I'm saying? It just, for Floyd Schofield to leap, like, okay, if he fought Edwin De Los Santos, that's a 50-50 fight. And I'm probably favoring Edwin De Los Santos.
Yeah, based on that performance, I'd favor him. Yeah. And Edwin De Los Santos is number 3 on that list.
You need
with Tank.
Yeah. And another dude, Frank Martin. But I think the Queen said he leaving. He going to 140, right?
I'm hearing rumors that he's going to 140 as well.
Frank Martin.
And just so you know, Edwin De Los Santos is number 3 in the WBA rankings, and Floyd Schofield's number 2. So it kind of seems like that would be the fight. That would be the next fight for Floyd Schofield, one way or the other. If it would seem like that would be the fight. And Andy Cruz is number 4 in the WBA rankings. Damn.
Right.
Yo, that's a whole little gumbo going on up there right now, bro. Number 1, obviously, Tank is the champion. You got Williams Zepeda, who's the number 1, but he doesn't seem like he's activating anything down there. 2, 3, and 4 is Floyd Schofield, Edwin De Los Santos, and Andy Cruz. That's a great fight. There's a great fight in there to be made. I hope they don't drop the ball. In this one and make it happen.
It's a couple of great fights. Round robin, a little tournament you can have right there.
Yeah, bro. I'm looking on there. It's a good. But it's also showing that it's not too much space for Floyd Schofield to move around. He doesn't have too many options that don't involve him getting in the ring with somebody who could whoop his ass. You know what I'm saying? He ain't no easy fights for him at this point.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. Exactly.
He gonna have to do something. He gonna have to make something happen. We're gonna find out who he is sooner or later.
But these are the fights he needs That's the
Right.
fights his dad should be pushing him towards to get him prepared for the Tanks and the Shakurs of the world.
100%.
Those are the fights he needs. Edwin De Los Santos, Raymond Muratalla, Chambers. Those are the fights you need to be seeking out.
Yeah.
Seek those fights out. Get the experience in tough fights like that, and then you move up. You understand? Right. Floyd Mayweather had the Emmanuel Augustus fight. You know, those fights taught him lessons when he moved up.
Right.
The Jose Luis Castillo fight, those taught him lessons when he moved up. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So those are the fights that he needs, man. But let me get off here, bro. My wife keeps going, gonna keep calling me, man.
No doubt, man. I appreciate you showing up and building with me, Blue. Thank you, brother. We'll see each other tomorrow, man.
For sure. For sure. You already know.
No doubt, man. Salute. Yeah, Blue Blood was in the building. Now he out. So yeah, guys, moving forward, I'm not too sure about this Turki Al-Sheikh signing Monster Anyway situation. I want to look deeper into that. Turki just signed him to a big sponsorship. You know how Turki does with his sponsorship. I always have a hard time figuring out what that means. He did the same thing with Terrence Crawford. He did the same thing with Jared Anderson. You can only assume that involves fights happening. Where are those fights going to happen? Are they going to happen in Riyadh? Are they going to happen in Japan? I can't imagine happening in Japan because, Monster has his own promotional company out there that's taking care of him out there in Japan. So it's either going to be in Riyadh or it's going to be here in America. Interested in seeing what that looks like. Monster Anyway at 122 right now, a two-weight class undisputed champion, right, guys? But we're all looking forward to potentially seeing him making a move to 126 and competing in that space where we got a lot of good fighters in that space. I wonder if Turki's trying to help facilitate that. Keep in mind, like, guys, let's keep the picture open and painted for what it is. There were rumors that they wanted to see Turki Al-Sheikh. They wanted to see Nick Ball go at it with Monster Anyway. You know how Nick Ball is Turki Al-Sheikh's, one of his favorite little fighters there. Nick Ball right now holding a WBA title right now at 126. And obviously the other fighters that are sitting there with Rafael Espinoza and Robesi Ramirez, I'm about to challenge him. I think you got Angela Leo up there right now. And who else? Who else is the missing piece right there? 126 with a belt. Who is it? You got Rafael Espinoza, Angela Leo, Nick Ball. Who's missing, guys? Y'all want to? Oh, Ray Vargas? Is it Ray Vargas? Right? So, yeah, Ryan, no doubt. Ryan, why don't you hit the link up, bro? I ain't talked to you in a minute. I don't know if you feel like coming up. I know you're doing your thing. You might be at work, so I'll throw it up on there if you feel like coming up. But definitely, you know what I mean? And Figueroa. Well, yeah, Mark, Figueroa's not a champion up there right now, right? He's like an interim champion underneath Ray Vargas. Did they get rid of Ray Vargas? Is that what happened? And Ray Vargas fall out and they raised Brandon Figueroa to full champion? Oh, okay. I got you, Mark. He's champion recess. Okay, so Brandon Figueroa. So they look, at the end of the day, I could see a game plan and I could see Turki Al-Sheikh kind of sending Anyway up into 126 to fight for one of those belts. A lot of money, obviously, but also Turki making those big fights. So I'm interested in seeing what exactly comes with that $19.7 million that he's given that he's given a Monster Anyway, and seeing how that develops. We've seen Turki just make all the biggest moves. And of course, what else is going on in the news? Frank Warren signs network deal with DAZN. That's great information. Vargas is champion. Okay. Great information. It looks like DAZN is really starting to plant their flag in this boxing game in an aggressive way. Now you got Queensberry, Matchroom, you got Golden Boy Promotions, all under DAZN. The only two people on the outside, obviously, Top Rank and the PBC. Top Rank rumor being that their whole situation with ESPN is going to be coming to some sort of change. There's supposed to be some things changing for them in the next year or so. So we'll see where they go with it. And then, we don't know what the PBC plans on doing, right? We don't know if they plan on trying to find a network deal somewhere else, or will they ultimately end up coming to DAZN as well. I heard some rumors today about potential $5 billion for the PBC or $3 billion. I don't know. I heard some potential crazy rumors. You know how that goes out. So rumors, we don't know. And I already told you guys on Bill Haney and the FBI, I don't really care. I didn't see nothing legitimate in that. If it is, I guess we'll see it on the news, but I don't really give a damn. Not my problem, man. What else is going on in the boxing space, guys? Did I miss anything? We talked about the cards. Oh, yeah. Gabrielle Fundora, man. You know, congratulations to her doing her thing. Hopefully, you know, she moves up in weight and go. I can't remember. I think it's going to be featherweight that she'll go up to. I can't remember. But more importantly, the style that I saw Gabrielle Fundora fighting in on Saturday was really interesting. I seen her really taking advantage of those physical attributes, staying behind that jab and bringing that left hand. I mean, I seen her fight the way I want to see Sebastian Fundora fight, and I think that's how they're training him to fight. Seeing him fight that way made me realize that if he can match that energy, no doubt, Ryan, no doubt. If he can match that energy that Gabriel had, I think Sebastian Fundora is the dark horse. He's the boogeyman at 154. He may be that already, but fighting like Gabriel Fundora, being that they're out of the same gym and all of a sudden you see them making the same adjustments, man, I'm telling you, bro, Sebastian Fundora will become a big issue at 154 if that's the way he plans on fighting. Let me see here. Ryan Frazier, Golden Girl Fundora, no doubt, man. Bullet Gibson said Clarissa Shields said she's going down to 154 to whoever wants it. Clarissa trying to make herself relevant, man. She's trying to stay relevant and make money. I don't know, man. Clarissa's getting to that point to where her options don't seem like they're all there for her, right? I mean, she's a heavyweight champion, and now she wants to come down to 154. You know what I'm saying? Looks like she's just kind of like going to spread herself thin. I hope that doesn't end up bad for her. Let me see. Michael James, I seen how she was sticking old girl and live bet the KO, won a few good bucks off of her. But no doubt, Mike James. But you saw what Gabriel brought to the table, what Gabby Baby brought to the table. If Sebastian Fundora is working on that same thing, and look, I think it's reasonable to they're both tall for their divisions. I think it's reasonable to speculate that they're working on the same thing. Sebastian Fundora found some success trying to control that distance against Tim Tszyu. And when he suffered his broken nose and got hit with shots he didn't want to get hit with, that's when he tried to stay inside that mid-range. So that might have been the last time we've seen that version of Sebastian Fundora, somebody who's making themselves available that way, keeping the fight mid-range and not taking advantage of the physical attributes that they have. If he is moving and co-signing with what Gabriel's doing, what Gabe Fundora's doing, he's gonna be a problem, bro. He's gonna be a problem for that division. When will Spence fight? Or is he retiring? Nine Fingers, great question. Hold on a second. I've been saying Sebastian is at scary 154. If he can put it all together, scary. 100%, Nick J, 100%. Let me see. Nine Fingers, when will Spence fight? Is he retiring? Listen, man. The Errol Spence conversation is an interesting conversation. It falls back in line with the PBC, Nine Fingers. Let's be honest. It falls right back in line with the PBC. And what I mean by that is what can the PBC facilitate for a fighter like Errol Spence? Errol was a face of the PBC boxing banner at one point in time, right? At one point in time, it was all about Errol Spence. Before it was Tank, before there was a Canelo there, it was Errol. Errol was the one packing out the stadiums and Cowboy stadiums and doing those things. Although he's coming in off of a loss from Terrence Crawford, you have to think that he's looking for some decent guaranteed money as well, right? He's made it to a certain tax bracket, to a certain amount of accolades, recognition in the space to where his money, he's going to want it to be big guarantees, especially with Terrence Crawford getting the big guarantees out there. So it's about their ability to facilitate that fight for Errol Spence. When Errol Spence comes back, should he get inside of the ring with a towering inferno? No, I don't think he really should. Will he? There's a good chance he will, because Spence doesn't do tune-ups, right? That's not what he does. But at the end of the day, getting in a ring with a towering inferno who's now more familiar with himself and more confident in what he brings to the table as far as controlling that distance, as far as staying behind that jab, as far as setting up and delivering those power shots. I don't like that fight for Errol Spence. I don't like it. You know what I mean? But we'll see what they decide to do. Let's see what we got going on here. Michael J. Rude exposure. I see why Boots didn't go to the PBC. 100% rude exposure. And there's a lot of fighters. Also, Jalil Hackett. You see Ray Vargas leave. There's a lot of fighters who saw the writing on the wall and couldn't afford to get involved with a promotional company that was going to keep them inactive, right? And in the rusty dusty section of the store. Country Q says, check out Darella Valsaint on ProBox TV. Good prospect. I'll check him out, no doubt. Let's see. DGO, the goal. What's good, family? Hope everything is good. Yeah, Spence is done. I don't think Spence is done, but I think Spence needs to carry himself accordingly. He needs to carry himself as somebody who just came off the worst loss, you know what I'm saying, one of the biggest upsets last year. And also he needs to take into consideration that he needs to get himself reacclimated, not only to the ring, but he needs to give himself time to acclimate to whoever he's training with, right? If he's not training with Derek James, he needs to give himself an opportunity to acclimate to that. He shouldn't do that in the ring with the most dangerous fighter in the division. If he can avoid that, I would think he should try to. Michael James 616 says Errol was the real face of the PBC, but they chose to push Tank, even though Errol sold more. Yeah. Well, I mean, when you get thrown out of a car doing over 100 miles an hour, you know, you can only expect the people who are basing their investment on you coming through your athletic ability to compete, you know, in a full capacity in a division that's stacked like that. That would take away a little bit of the confidence behind him. And I could see why they went ahead and segued from the Errol Spence business the way they had it before. What's up with the Charlos? Non-fingers, same issue, brother. You know, when you bring up the Charlos, when you bring up Errol Spence, when you bring up Tank, when you bring up these fighters, you're bringing the PBC up. And the questions are going to come up that's a lot of people don't like to talk about is what's going on with the PBC. I'm not one of those guys who subscribe to the idea that the PBC is going out of business. I don't subscribe to that idea. I hope that's not the case if it is, but I do think it's only fair to recognize that it does seem like they're having a hard time managing the resources that they have and allocating them towards making big fights, because all these fighters you're talking about, Jamel Charlo, Errol Spence, these are big fighters, big budgets, big money, right? You need to be able to pay them as well as their dancing partners, whoever you put them in the ring with, because you don't want to put them with just anybody. So we're just going to have to take our time now, fingers, and see how that develops, see what comes up out of this situation, even right now with the Lamont, Roach, Javante, Tank Davis situation, so we can get our finger on the pulse of what to expect from the PBC for the 2025, right? Let's see here. Quincy Carter, salute, King. Salute. Clay, big respect. Salute, bro. No doubt, Quincy Carter. Thank you, man. Hey, guys, I don't know how we looking on the likes, but let's make sure the likes are up where they need to be. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, definitely take an opportunity to do that. Cornelius Burnett, salute, King. Play it. Hold on a second. Bradley, is that you? Is Cornelius Burnett Bradley? I don't know. Harvey Doc has seen a lot of blood, no doubt. That player thing, no. Okay, Cornelius, because you saying player, that's something Bradley says all the time. My bad, didn't mean to, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, he said no player. Now he said no player. Everybody's in the building. That's what's up, man. But yeah, man, we got to see what's going to happen with the PBC, bro. That's it. That's all we can do, man. If we're wrong, we're wrong. You know what I mean? And that'll be great. That'll be a great wrong. You know what I mean? But unfortunately, I don't think we're wrong, though. Let's see. Greg Gambino says, is Tyson versus Paul a legit fight, or is it scripted for Paul to win? No script. I don't think it's no script. But I do think it's a fight that we don't have, you know, we can keep it real. Tyson's an older guy. Jake Paul is a younger dude. I think it's a real fight. You know what I mean? I think the undercard is going to be the more significant part of that fight, as far as Amanda Serrano and Katie Taylor, and even Mario Barrios defending his welterweight championship on that card. I think we're going to see a great undercard, and then, you know, get some entertainment at the end of the night. Ooh. Let me see. Cornelius Ben said, I've been screaming player since the beginning of time. No doubt, Cornelius. No doubt. I believe you, brother. I definitely believe you, man. Let me see. Rude Exposure said, I like being wrong. Am I wrong? What are you going to be wrong about, Rude Exposure? Harvey Doc, I've seen a lot of blood. I don't know. I don't know what you'd be wrong about. I don't know what you'd be wrong about. But yeah, we'll see what happens in all those fights, man. What else we got going on? I mean, going into the weekend, obviously, we can go into the fights we got coming up this weekend, Friday and Saturday. I mean, Rude Exposure, that would be great, right? But that's not what we're looking. That's not a reality of what we're looking at right now. The reality of what we're looking at right now, though, is obviously Keyshawn Davis has his card coming up on Friday. We got some decent fights coming up on that card. Abdullah Mason's on that card. All his brothers are on that card. We got Troy Megatron Isley on there, or Megatroy Isley on there. And then obviously going into Saturday, we got the Jaron Ennis card going in. He fights against Karen Chukadajian, which, by the way, I want to give you guys a heads up on that fight. That fight may be more competitive than you guys might want to admit. Why? Karen, those Eastern Europeans, man, they seem to be involved in some good fights this year. Karen has that experience with Jaron Boots Ennis. You know, the second time around, he should be a little bit more confident. And also, I wouldn't think to see Karen fight the way he fought last time, being that he lost every round the last time they fought. I'd expect Karen to engage more, focus more on winning rounds, and probably coming with a lot of power. This fight could be an awkward style for Jaron Ennis, and this can become a way more competitive fight than we anticipated it being, just because of Karen's pedigree and what he brings to the table. We got to see Jaron Ennis show us a side of him that we haven't seen in a long time, which is that, you know, war of attrition, that boxing style, the ability to hit, not get hit, move around with Karen when Karen's moving around and cut that ring off. We'll get an opportunity to see all of that, right? So great fight next weekend, and Boots' undercard is pretty epic as well. I think we got Raymond Ford making a return to the ring. He should be fighting on that card as well. He'll be making his debut at 130 pounds, so we'll get to see him on that card as well. Let's see here. Clay not in the clan, but that's my brother right there. Yeah, Cornelius, I'm not in the clan, man. Boots gets a stop this time. That's what he'd be looking to do, I'm sure. He probably definitely should be looking to get that stop. What's next for Boots after that? Who do you guys want to see Boots fight after this fight? And please don't say Terrence Crawford. It's not the fight that's happening. Well, a realistic fight. Who do you want to see Boots go against after this fight? What makes most sense for Boots Ennis after this fight with Karen Chukadajian? And that's assuming, of course, that he walks away with a win from that fight. What would be next for him? I'll tell you right now, I say go for Brian Norman. If that doesn't work, leave the division. Nick J says Mario Barrios if he wins. Mario Barrios if he's willing to fight. On 147, Kavalaxis. Ryan Garcia. Okay. Yeah. It is what it is. But yeah, guys, going into the weekend, those are the fights that we got to look forward to, see how they turn out. I ain't gonna lie to you. You know, it's let me see. Dangerous Desirable is Karen hit Boots with a couple of 3 pieces. Look out for this fight. I think that Karen Boots fight is gonna be a little more competitive than people want to give that fight credit, because they just remembering the old Karen. I have a feeling that fight's gonna be more competitive. Rule Exposure, who can he fight at 154? I mean, you got plenty of fights up there from the fight at 154. As long as Eddie Hearn is on his job, you got fights with Virgil Ortiz, you got fights with Jesus Ramos, you got fights with Terrence Crawford is up there, obviously. Errol Spence is up there as well. There's plenty of options at 154. Anonymous said Brian Norman. Yeah, that would be the fight that I'm looking forward to see too, to see if they could put that together. It's already built the story up. They're already running their mouths to each other. They already done called each other out in different ways. That would be the fight that you would think would be the easiest fight for him to make happen. Go ahead and unify, get a WBO belt if he beats Brian Norman, and then, you know, bring in more to the table for somebody else who might be chasing legacy in that division to give Boots the fights he needs. But if he's not able to make that fight, go to 140. Put your application in. I will put some strings to get your app to the top of the pile. You get it. All right, guys, it's about that time, man. It's been a great evening. We done built on some good topics. I'm tired. I appreciate everybody who showed up tonight, showed up to the panel. Shout out to Blue Blood Sports who showed up to the panel. Shout out to Drew Titan who showed up. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Bullet Gibson was on the panel tonight. Boxing Hacker on the panel tonight. My co-host Ray Davis was on the panel tonight. You heard he's fighting in March? Okay, Country Q. Okay. Yeah, I know he hurt himself. He was supposed to be fighting on this card this weekend. Brian Norman was actually supposed to be on that Keyshawn Davis card. So good to see him busy. Salute to everybody in the building. Remember to hit the like button. If you haven't done it yet, please hit the, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, make sure you do that as well. I'm assuming everybody that's in here is subscribed to the channel, but if you haven't done it, make sure you do so. Tomorrow, you know where you guys can catch me. I will be on Blue Blood Sports. We'll be building on everything boxing. Let me see. Bullet Gibson says, watch them boxing rankings, Clay. Zor Abdulev. I seen that as well. I seen Zor Abdulev is moving up the rankings. I want to see somebody fight him, no doubt. I did see that, Bullet Gibson. I did see that, by the way. I did notice that. Wait, Clay, you still subscribe? You still subscribe to Bud fighting Canelo next if possible? Oh, 100%, Flyer. You already know. Listen, man, we don't stutter when it comes to that, man. Bud, if Bud want that fight, and if Bud get that fight, I'm right there to watch it, and I think Bud could beat Canelo. I think he puts knots on that boy's head, man. Straight up. Straight like that, man. You know what I mean? But on that note, I appreciate you guys. We will catch up with you guys tomorrow. Catch me on Blue Blood. But at this point, you know how we carry it. We out.
They hate when you elevate. The second of losses, I'm handing them out. Yeah, I had to go delegate. It feel like I'm floating, I'm lost in the moment. I swear I could levitate. They never believed that I would really fly. I had to go demonstrate. I had to set them straight. They hate when you elevate. Elevate, elevate. They hate when you elevate. Elevate, elevate. Yeah. They hate when you elevate. Elevate, elevate. They hate when you elevate. Yeah. I had to elevate. I'm way too fly. Yeah, I'm feeling myself. Ain't no chance I'm coming down, no. Got a soul view to myself, yeah. Why would I give it up? Why do they want to come take my place? I work too hard for it, don't need a replacement. It's my vocation, now I got rollies all in rotation. Hop on the jet just to take a vacation. Remember the moments was trapped in the basement, now the hard work